So my name is Ross Malme. I'm with Schneider Electric. For those of you that don't know us, we're headquartered in Paris. It's about a 20 billion euro company. About 5 billion of that is in the U.S. here. You might know us by some of our U.S. brands. We own a company called Square D, which has about 40% market share in electrical distribution. If you're at all involved in the IT business, we own a company called APC, which does power conditioning for data centers. And if you have a UPS for your PC, it's probably ours. So we're all about sustainability and being green. And I'm going to try to be very brief here, but I've got a couple of questions. How many students do we have in the audience here? And faculty or staff? Okay, great. This is the electricity business, which has been kind of a boring business for the last 50 years or so, is about to get pretty exciting. This is we're sitting on right now is what I would call the .com of electricity. This is about to get very, very interesting for the next 2 or 3 decades. And let me talk about that for just a second. Well, maybe I won't. Let me see if I can get back to where I need to be here. Steve? Steve! Operator error. This one here? Okay, great. Okay, so here's the problem that we're all staring at for the next 50 years or so. You know, we are going to increase electricity demand by 2. And that's just not in developed countries, it's in developing countries. Yesterday we were talking about there's 1.6 billion people on this planet that don't have electricity today that will have it in the next 10 years. And they're all going to want to have the things that you and I all have today. And then we have the need to cut emissions by 2. So this is a huge challenge, both technologically, operationally, psychologically for us as a society. This is what I would call the Jurassic grid. Okay, so we had centralized generation, and we pushed electricity down this way, and information kind of went one way as well. A funny thing happened on the way to sustainability. We started bringing this piece in, and that is renewable generation is a great thing. It's a great thing for all the reasons we know. But if you're the entity in charge of keeping the lights on, it's a disaster, because this stuff, generally wind and solar, it's hard to forecast, and it's almost impossible to control. So if you're PJM, which controls the reliability for this building, it's a real problem in terms of keeping the grid in balance. And trying to do it from this side over here is a real problem, because when you try to provide grid balancing from this side, the efficiency of those resources goes down very dramatically. And in fact, yesterday we were over at the Brookings Institute, and we were talking about if you tried to balance wind from this side over here, the net carbon impact of the entire wind industry is 0, because the inefficiency of these guys goes down so bad. So where are we headed? We're headed to smart grid. And my colleague at Siemens will talk a little bit more about this. But the good thing is we have, on this side, we've been investing in a bunch of smart resources on the customer side for a long time. Smart buildings, smart water and wastewater plants, smart factories, smart homes. And where we're headed is the ability to connect these resources in real time. This building is going to get connected to the grid operator. And this building will provide resources to the wholesale market. It's going to get connected to this guy over here, Pepco. So when he starts deploying electric vehicles and he needs to have local demand management, he's going to have this building available to help him do that. And also to the retail provider over here. So if you take a look at in markets like this one, where you have retail competition, the retail provider today, folks like Constellation, these guys over here are sitting in real time, flying completely blind. They're guessing what's happening from a load standpoint. So they're sitting with 100% of the demand risk and 100% of the price risk. And what we'll be able to do going forward is be able to take these green buildings over here as a portfolio and put it on this trader's desk in real time and take risk out of their business. And what does that mean for the consumer? It means we take cost out of their supply portfolio. So where we're headed, and one of the message I want to give you today is we're working today with the U.S. Green Building Council in how do we manage the LEED process for LEED certification for buildings, and sort of get out of the building, so to speak. Up until now, the LEED certification process has been managed primarily for what happens inside the building. Okay, so where we're going is saying how does the building relate to the energy ecostructure? So how does the building relate to the market? And so the USGBC today is they're certifying about 1.4 million square feet of buildings in the LEED process today. There's about 27,000 projects in the LEED certification process, and we'll be modifying that process right now to say how do we relate those buildings to what happens to the electricity market. And so in that process, we'll be creating a center of excellence, so to speak, for pilot projects, for best practices, so to speak, and probably would like to invite Johns Hopkins here to be part of that center of excellence in terms of what are the policy issues we have around LEED certification of buildings going forward, and keeping that process going forward. So as we go forward in terms of design of buildings, what you'll see is a convergence where we'll be looking at how do all the subsystems of a building relate to each other, and how do we have those subsystems roll up to the building automation system and getting access to these things, and having the building actually be a resource to the wholesale electricity market going forward. So in essence, these buildings will be the resource which is providing the load balancing for those intermittent wind and solar resources going forward. And with that, I will stop.